Good morning, everyone, and welcome to episode 255 of the On Air Advocate. Where at the On Air Advocate, we look to provide education, support, and empowerment for all of those with different abilities, mental and medical illnesses, and their caregivers. For those of you who may not know me, my name is Tammy Flynn, and I am the host and producer of the On Air Advocate. And I am super excited if you are joining us here this snowy, cold morning in the state of Wisconsin, or if you are catching this on the replay. Now, as always, if you think this content is relevant or helpful for anyone in your circle, please hit the share button on whatever social media platform that you are viewing this from at this time. Now, as you guys might be aware, if you have followed us on the On Air Advocate this month, we are recognizing National Cancer Prevention Month. And I am so excited to have with me here today, Latarsha Ancrum. She is a breast cancer survivor. And as I have learned, she has many other titles under her aside from this breast cancer survivor. So welcome, Latarsha.
Hi, how are you? Thank you for having me, Tammy.
Yes, I'm so happy for you to be here. So would you be able to give the audience, because you haven't been here before, just a little snapshot of who Latarsha is?
Well, I am a mom of three wonderful children, all older adults. I am in a teaching program, so I'm a soon-to-be educator. I started a YouTube channel, reading stories, read alouds, and helping with self-regulation techniques for parents. I am an ABA specialist. I work with children with autism. And I am a breast cancer survivor.
Oh my goodness. That is a list of phenomenal things that you are doing. So when we hear breast cancer survivor, I know the question that comes to so many people's head is, well, how did you find out? How did you become aware of it? Were you going for yearly checkups? Or are you doing self-mammograms, self-checks at home, all of that? Can you take us through that beginning part of the journey of how you actually became aware that you had breast cancer?
Sure. So right around the time the pandemic started, it was so much, it was like intense online working. And I started to experience pain in my right arm. Like I felt like my lymph node cord was tight, which is something that happened previous because I am prone to cyst in my breast. So I thought I was having a cyst come back in my breast on the right side, and it was like really tender. So I made an appointment with my doctor because it started getting worse. Like I couldn't hold my phone, typing on the computer. It was like really painful. So I called my doctor. They made an appointment because I'm already being monitored in the breast center, the breast care center, because I have a family history of breast cancer. And just in 2019, I had my last exam. The cyst shrunk, and they decided to push instead of doing annuals, they decided to push it back to like 2-3 years for a checkup because they felt like I was young, healthy, and my cysts were shrinking. So they were going in the right direction. Lo and behold, I went in for my ultrasound, and they did the ultrasound, and they always do a mammogram right after because of my family history. So when they did the mammogram, they actually found calcifications on in my left breast, and it was behind my breast wall. It was behind my breast tissues along the breast wall, which is very hard to detect. And I didn't have any pain on my left side. Everything was on the right side.
So you went in because of your right side.
Exactly.
Nothing your left side. And then when they did that mammogram, the x-rays, they found the left side.
Exactly. When they did the ultrasound, they saw something, and then they went along and did the mammogram, and that's when it was clear. So I had to have a biopsy. And when I had the biopsy, that's when it came back that I was positive stage 0 with breast cancer.
Oh my gosh. And so when you're a stage 0, what does that actually mean? So for people who might not be aware.
It means that it's good for me, anyone who's diagnosed with a stage 0, because that means the cancer is just forming. The cells are just forming. So it hasn't completely formed and developed into that solid cancer cell. into that solid like mass.
Mm-hmm.
So they were able to catch it very early before it started spreading anywhere, or it got any thicker.
At that point, when they told you that, I'm sure your heart probably hit the floor when they told you that there was something there.
Yes, actually, I always tell people it was a very weird supernatural experience for me because literally I remember sitting at my desk, finishing up with work, and getting the phone call. And um, as soon as I felt like I wanted to worry or get scared, I swear to you, Tammy, I felt and I heard it was like a chill going through my body, and I heard this voice in my head saying, "Don't worry, I got you. I need you to tell your story." And instantly I felt a sense of peace, like I was going to be okay.
So what were your next steps then after that? I mean, obviously that's a good feeling, right?
Well, yeah, but I had that feeling, but realistically, it didn't. Going through the process, your emotions are literally up and down, up and
Mm-hmm.
down. Because there was so much going through my head. Like I knew God had me because I literally heard Him say it, like I have you. But it's like I still have questions, like am I going to live? Is it going to come back? Is it going to spread? What's going to happen? Am I going to lose my breath? It was very nerve wracking when you're going through all these things. And then I had to get actually a test done to find out, a genetic test to find out if I'm prone to any other cancers and if I have, if this is hereditary, which I advise anyone who is diagnosed with cancer to find out because it helps you and it helps your children, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and it helps you know that history. It came back that it was negative for me having it being hereditary. So I did not have to have my breast completely removed. If it was hereditary, they advised that I got my breast. I had a complete breastectomy, but I
Yes.
only had a lumpectomy. I had my first surgery in August, so it moved very quickly. July, I was diagnosed. I had a lot of biopsies. They actually thought they saw something in my right breast as well when they did an MRI. And so they did a biopsy of that. That came back negative, thank God. Um, so we moved on to the surgery. There was a little mishap with the placement of the scalpel for where the surgeon was going to go in at, which was actually a good thing because where the misplacement was, they actually found more cancer cells, so they were able to get that. But I had to go back in for a second surgery in September.
Okay.
So at the time, I'm rushing planning for my daughter's sweet 16 during the COVID because I wanted her to still be able to celebrate. And then 5 days later, I was going in to have the major surgery. I had surgery on both of my breasts. I had to have a reconstruction on both of them because they took out a lot of tissue from my left side because they had to go in a second time. Um, and so I had to have both of my breasts reconstructed. The healing process was a lot. Um, I was bandaged down literally for a week. I couldn't shower. I couldn't do anything for a week. Then it was a midst of like getting everything back, like getting back to myself. Started back to work. And then in the end of October, I started my radiation treatment.
Mm-hmm.
That was very intense. Um, I went from only needing 18, and then they decided that they wanted to add more. So I ended up having 22 treatments,
Wow.
and it was literally every day, Monday through Friday. And the last week, it was actually 6 days. I went Monday through Friday. I had off Saturday, and then I went again Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. And I was so thankful because I was finished right before Thanksgiving. Literally, that Monday before Thanksgiving was my last treatment. So it's like Thanksgiving took on a whole nother meaning of things for me and my family. Um, I'm still recuperating from the effects of the radiation treatment.
Mhm.
I didn't realize how intense it was, um, but it does take a toll on your body. Um, I am still experiencing like nerve pain in my breast and swelling from the radiation treatment. But I am so thankful that my healing was everything healed nicely, and I'm able to still be moving and active, and I'm able to still be involved. Um, and mentally and spiritually, I would say I'm in a really good place.
Mhm. Well, and we discussed when we were chatting before the show, and you were telling me that you went for um, the mammogram and they found it, but that really wasn't what you were going there for, you know?
Yes, yes,
That's the God
and
just watching over you.
it is. And you know what's so funny? You said that, Tammy. Every time my breast cancer doctor, my oncology breast cancer um, doctor, he would always say, "How did you find this again?" Because he
Hmm.
was just so amazed at how I was able to find this form of breast cancer so early. Because he said usually women who find out that they have the type of breast cancer that I have and the location, they usually don't find out until it's already at a stage 3, stage 4, and it's very aggressive. Because it takes a while for the lump to form because it's so far behind the breast tissue.
Hmm.
And all he kept saying to me was, "You definitely have angels watching over you because it's so rare." And literally, if he told me that if the person that did my mammogram didn't really squish down and like get everything, they could have missed it. So my advice when I tell women, when you go and get your mammogram, try not to, you know, be so frustrated or think about the pain. Look at the fact that they are really trying to look and help you. Because if I was like irritated or worried about the pain and I would have pushed back just a little, they could have missed the classification that they found because it was like literally behind my breast, like close to my armpit. So if it would have spread, it could have possibly went into my lymph node cords. My lymph nodes. My doctor was explaining to me.
Goodness. And just to kind of back up, because you were talking about that you did have some reconstruction on that opposite side,
Yeah.
right? On both your, so what were they doing on that side? Were they taking out tissue that looked like it possibly could, develop an issue, or what were they working on that side?
No, so what they actually did, it was more like to make both of my breasts even again.
Okay.
So they actually didn't have to remove any tissue. It was more so just removing skin and making them both even. So I always tell people I went through breast cancer, but I got a new set of boobs.
That's a way to look at it. You got like a
Yeah.
bonus.
And that's the real thing about it. Everyone just kept, even my doctors and the nurses, everyone that was on my team, they were all amazing. Like my medical team was amazing. Everybody was so attentive, caring, informative, and supportive. And they were just like, "You're so positive." And I'm like, at that moment, I made a choice when I found out, okay, there's only two ways you can deal with this because the cancer is not going anywhere. I can either go through this, feel bad for myself, and, go through this angry, constantly asking why, or I can go through this and find out the lesson in it, and I refuse to be sad because I'm saved. Like it was found. So I'm not going to be sad. And it was so crazy. Each time I went into my radiation treatment, I get a little emotional just seeing other people who are way off than me. There was no way that I could be sad. So I just refused. There was times where I was like, dang, one thing after another. But just that thought, it definitely was a humbling experience for me, going through this. I would definitely say.
Making you count your blessings
Yes, exactly. Exactly.
every day. Now, you said you did the genetic testing, right? You went
Yes.
through the process. So there are, I'm certain, people that will listen to this or are listening to this that know that they may have a predisposition to some type of cancer because others in their family have passed away from it or have, had it. What did you find out from that genetic testing? Did you find out anything that is useful now for you to carry on, let your kids know about, that sort of thing?
No, I actually was able to let them know that we did not have any histories or family history of any. I mean, that all the tests came back negative.
Okay.
So there was no genetics of
And
cancer cells. So this was just a fluke on how it formed. Um, but I would say to people, it's so important to know your family background. That was so beneficial to me, and I didn't realize how important that was until when I'm speaking with the specialist, giving my family background. It was so many doctors I had to speak to and specialists to give my family background. And each one, they said, wow, you have a lot of information on your family history on both sides, on your mom and your dad's side. And I didn't realize how important that was until these doctors made it known to me that I knew a lot about my family history and their medical history, especially. So I would say, a lot of times people go through cancer and they're secretive, they're quiet about it. Maybe because they don't want to feel pity or they don't want anyone feeling sorry for them, because that's the first thing I thought. I didn't want anyone feeling sorry for me. So I'm like, I'm not going to speak about it because I don't want people to think that, I'm trying to get pity or I'm. So, but in the sense, it's actually the opposite. Speaking about it, it helps people. It helps people want to go get checked. It makes, like, you don't know how many people that I came across and told them my story, and they're like, I made my first mammogram appointment, or I made my first appointment to get checked with my doctor. And it's even guys that are going to get checked. So me going through my this experience, it actually helped others, males and females, decide that they were going to go and get checked for their health, whether it's cancer that they find or high blood pressure or at risk for sugar diabetes. Like, the point is, they went and they were evaluated by their doctors to find out that, about their health.
Yes, it is so important, like you were saying, for all levels. So whether that's high blood pressure, heart disease, what I'm saying, breast cancers, knowing and talking to your family about it can really be the changing factor in you going in and getting checked at an early enough time to get something diagnosed and caught in time.
Right. And
Yes.
something I would say too, going through this experience, just be real with how you feel. And I was so thankful for one of my close friends. She went through this whole journey with me. I'm so thankful that in my family, I'm thankful for my family, friends, everyone who went through this journey with me. I think that's important, to have a positive um, support group.
Yep. Support
I
system.
think it's important for you to remain positive and try to find the positive in the situation, um, and try to turn it around into an empowering thing. Like your platform, and I was also with Shape Partners with Wendy Mayo Garvin. You all don't realize how important your platforms are for people like me, because you get diagnosed with disease, and usually you think it's a death sentence. So you
Mhm.
feel like all your power has been taken away from you. And to have these platforms with Shape Partners and On Air Advocate, it allows us to take this power back, because there's days like yesterday, last night, going to sleep and not really being able to sleep right because my breasts are still engulfed and I'm having shooting pain going through my breast, and it's so uncomfortable, and you feel powerless. You feel like, when am I going to go back to normal? So to
Right.
be able to have these platforms and to be able to speak, share my story, um pray that I can possibly help someone else with their journey, with changing the way they're looking at what they're going through, or even a family member. Like it's so important for families to be real with how they're feeling and how they're going through, and just having that constant communication on how you guys are feeling instead of each person trying to be strong for the next person, because it's real. Like you're going through something realistic. It's okay to not be strong. It's okay to be real. It's okay to be angry. It's okay to ask questions and be frustrated. But once you go through that, try to find your joy in it. And that's what anything that you go through, whether it's cancer diagnosis or a loss of a loved one or just anything in life, just try move through your emotions, but try to find that joy in it, in the process of it.
Yes. And you kind of answered some of it for me, but I want to go back to, I got two questions that are sitting on my mind. To think that you traveled this journey during the pandemic and
Yes.
still coming out with this positivity is amazing and inspiring within itself. What would you say was different? Obviously, you haven't traveled this journey before, but just your experience of traveling through this during the pandemic. Was it hard to get access sometimes to those treatments, to the care that you needed, that sort of thing?
So as far as getting access to my treatment, absolutely not. Everything was accessible. My doctors were very quick with everything, even my medication. Because I actually had surgery prior to finding out about my breast cancer. I was literally just healing from fibroid surgery in February, and I was diagnosed with I had a week after that fibroid surgery, I had a pulmonary embolism. So I was on blood pressure blood thinner medicine. So I would say me having that complication from my first surgery at the beginning of the year and this surgery, the only thing was complicated was them trying to find me a pain solution, like a good pain combo for the medication, because I was on the blood thinners, so I wasn't able to take the usual Motrin and things like that. So I would say that was my only struggle going through this. And with the pandemic, it's just being nervous going into the hospital so frequently, because I swear I used to say I need to buy stock in the hospital because I like lived in the hospital. And it was like I was familiar with the people behind. Hey, see you tomorrow. So it was like one of those things. So I would say it was just me being nervous about going in and catching something right before my surgery, because they have you take a COVID test before the surgery. And if you have COVID, you can't have your surgery. So
Right.
I think that was the only nerve wracking thing for me. But a lot of prayer helped me so much through this. My faith definitely got me through this whole, and it's continuing to keep me, I would say.
So that leads into my next question was the where you felt you found the best support systems during this time. So your faith in God,
Yes.
number
Yes.
one. Um,
Yes.
and you said like Wendy, which her organization, Shape Partners, is amazing.
Yes.
That she was a big factor in that. Were there other organizations that you reached out to, got information from, got resources from that you thought were really amazing, or just family, friends, that sort of thing?
So yes, the diagnosis that I had, I'm sorry, hold on. The diagnosis, I just have to make sure I have the initials right, the abbreviations right. It was the DCIS, was the diagnosis that I had. It's like a duck something. I can't remember the actual terms. But there was actually a support group that Wendy connected me to on Facebook, and it was DCIS support group, and it was a bunch of different women on this platform that were going through exactly what I was going through, and some of them were way more intense. Like a lot of them had to have breastectomies, They had like tube drainage and everything, but they were so amazing. They helped me with answering questions, letting me know what to expect with the radiation treatment, different types of vitamins I can take to help like boost my energy, things to stay away from. So I would say that really, really helped a lot.
Having
And
a
then,
support group of people that had the same condition that you were
yes,
struggling with was extremely helpful.
yes, yes. It helped me out a lot. So that my family, like I said, the support of my family and friends definitely helped ground me. Prayer kept my mind so at peace during this whole thing. Um, and the support group, of course, Shape Partners, their support group was very helpful for me. And I was actually doing coaching sessions with Wendy, and that was very helpful. It's so funny. I was doing it before I was even diagnosed with breast cancer. So the strategies that I got from her coaching session, it actually helped me a great deal with going through the mental processing when I had my first got my diagnosis. So I would definitely say God definitely had everything lined up.
He definitely did. We can stay on this. I don't even know what
Yeah.
day. It's Tuesday.
Right, right.
Every day. And definitely, Latarsha, you are an inspiration. And I am so excited that you said that during this pandemic and all of this, you've started a YouTube platform, right?
Yes, that actually kept me insane. I read books to children and give self-regulation tips to parents with children with autism, or just like self-regulation. Your children don't even have to have autism or learning disabilities. To me, adults can use self-regulation techniques. So,
So is
yeah,
that the topic? That's the topic of the YouTube channel.
yeah, it's just a bunch of fun stuff for children. But right now it's a lot of book reading that I'm doing, and it's read aloud with Miss A, Missa, the letter A.
Oh, I love it. That's awesome. Well, when we are done with this show today, I would love for you to drop the YouTube channel below in the comments so that if
Okay.
anyone wants to access that or get connected to you, I think maybe in the works, maybe an inspiring YouTube channel of your story
You
might be
know, I it's funny you said that. I actually something told me to journal my whole process. So
Mhm.
literally I've been journaling since February with my first surgery. So I actually journaled the whole pandemic process, like talking about raw emotions and how I was feeling and crying and things like that. So I'm trying to figure out what to do with these videos and these little clip it. So I'll keep you posted if I do
Let's
anything
post
with
it here
it.
because then you'll be back on the show and we'll be talking about that.
Right, exactly.
Well, wonderful, Latarsha. I thank you so much for spending this Tuesday morning here with us and sharing your story with us. And I am so excited that you are doing well. You are, as of right November, was it you said 22nd, you are cancer free?
Yes, I am cancer free as of now, and I pray it remains that way.
Yes.
Something tells me it will stay that way. This is
Yes.
just something I had to do to connect with a different population of people, I feel.
Yes. Well, God is good and He is going to continue blessing you. I am certain of it. And you have blessed us this morning. And I thank you so much for that and
Thank you
being here.
so much. I appreciate it. Thank you again for helping me, and thank you so much for your platform. I pray you continue to expand in your area because this is definitely needed for somebody like me who, just a regular, no everyday person, and being able to get on your platform and to just talk about my experience. It's so empowering for me, and I thank you for giving me that opportunity.
Well, thank you, Latarsha. I really, really appreciate you being here. If you guys want to know any more about Latarsha and the things she's doing, she's going to drop that YouTube channel below. And if you guys want to know any more about the On Air Advocate and the services that we offer, you can head on over to onairadvocate.com and find them all right there. So with that, everybody have a blessed Tuesday. I hope wherever it is, it's sunny and warm, not snowy and cold.
Right.
Bye, everyone.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Well, that's interesting, Latarsha. It doesn't want to end. It must just want you being on the show. It's like, seriously not coming off.
This is so much fun. I was so nervous.
But it's not ending. So I might have to just click it all off all the way.
Okay, that's fine.
So I'm going to try that. I'm not sure why it doesn't want us to be done today. This is the first time in history, 3 years this has happened. All right. I'm just going to click the whole thing down and see what happens.
All right. Bye, Tammy.